What is going on, you guys? We have ourselves a beautiful summer evening. It's heating up and the lake is nice and calm. We got sparse lily pads all over the place, and so you know what that means? We are gonna be throwing a walking frog. Not a popping frog, a walking frog, because where we think these bass are is up in this heavy cover. So when we see this cover, you can throw a popping frog up there, but a walking frog is gonna cut through it really nicely. So I'm gonna give you some tips and some tricks, and hopefully show you some big ol' bass blow-ups out in these pads. So let's go get after it. All right, you guys, we got some grass here that we're sitting on. One thing I want to talk about is this frog. Like, there's a couple different kinds of frogs, right? There's a popping frog, it's got a cup mouth, and that thing's gonna be spitting water forward, but also catches everything on top as you go. This frog has a arrow-shaped head, right? Pointed shaped head. That means you can pull it through almost anything. The hooks are riding right along the side of the body. That means you can fish anything. I mean, you can throw this right into a tree, have it come right back to you. It is fantastic. Late summer, especially like I got grass all up top here. It's riding right high, but I can fish all this and not get caught, so it's fantastic. But a couple things you gotta know when you're fishing a frog. One, these are heavy duty hooks. They're super thick, which means you have to have a monster hook set. So you're gonna use a heavy action rod. You're not gonna get away with that medium light. It's okay, but you're gonna wish that you had the heavy action a lot of the time. Also, you're gonna wanna use straight braid. Braid is gonna sit on top of the water, it's not gonna sink on you, and it means you got a strong connection when you go to set that hook. The other thing you gotta think about, you're fishing a bunch of dirty cover, right? I got grass from the bottom of the lake all the way up to the top here. If I catch a fish and he dives down, I gotta be able to get him out. I gotta be able to winch him out. That's why I'm using the bait caster, and that's why I'm using the 50-pound braid. That means I can pull them out of whatever I catch them in, whether it's lily pads or this tall grass or any other garbage I'm fishing. Now the other thing, you're gonna wanna be able to cast a long ways, so do not skimp on the braid. If you don't have enough braid, you're not gonna be able to cast far, which means you're not gonna be able to hit those spots, and you're not gonna be able to catch that fish way back in wherever you're trying to fish them out of. All right, so let's talk about actually walking a frog, right? There's a couple different ways to do it. You cast it out there, you can leave just a tiny bit of slack, and you can go side to side. And all you're gonna do is work your rod like this, side to side, and you're gonna get that swishing back and forth motion. Now, one tip with that, that's best for open water or when you're working it along like a line of green stuff, right? You pull up to a spot, you see a whole bunch of green, you cast all the way along it, you walk that frog back. That's gonna be best for open water. Now let's say you're fishing the heavy stuff. I actually like to run this just like a popping frog. If you're in a boat, you can go downwards. If you're in a kayak, you just work it sideways. And you're just gonna give it these big jumps, big pops, and you're gonna work it back towards you. The big thing here though is the pauses. If you're working the lily pads, it doesn't matter what you're working. If there's an opening in that green, get right up to the lip of the opening, stop, pump the brakes, stop your frog. Count to 5, count to 10. Count to 3, whatever it is that you can handle, count and wait as long as you can, and then gently just bring your frog right into that opening. Don't do a thing, let the line slack. Those rubber legs that you see on these frogs, they're gonna splay out, right? These rubber legs, they're gonna spread out, and that's gonna look like a frog that's just laying there, waiting to get torched. Let that thing sit there, and I promise you're gonna get some hits on that. Last tip I have for you, you're gonna find yourself in this big, expansive, open area full of just junk, and you're gonna try and fan cast the whole thing, and you're gonna fish it back. One thing you'll notice is you're bringing the frog back through some of the same areas. After you fish the areas like within 20 feet of you, like a 20-foot circle, don't feel like you have to fish all the way back to yourself. You're targeting those farther back areas, and once you've realized that you've covered a piece of real estate with that frog a few times, do not cover it again. It's okay. Hit it once or twice, and then as soon as you hit that 20 or 30-foot circle, just bring that frog right back in. Make your next cast, find your next spot. Once you kind of cover the whole real estate, move on to the next area. All right, you guys, we are getting close to sundown. I only got a couple more casts, but dude, we had so much fun out here. You know, fishing a frog, when you see that blow up, even when you don't get a hit, just getting the blow up is like, it is its own reward. It's so much fun. It's one of the most fun things to get in fishing is get that topwater blow up, especially on a frog. Again, when you're out here fishing a frog, anytime you see these crazy lily pads in here, grab the walking frog. Anytime you see grass on top, grab the walking frog. Anytime there's just like too much gunk, just grab the walking frog. You're gonna have a good time and you're gonna be able to fish that really effectively. Also remember, heavy rod, 50-pound braid, use a bait casting setup if you have one. And then when you set the hook, set it like a boss. Set it like it's your PB so that you can make sure you get that fish and then zip it right in as quickly as possible. And with that, just want to say thanks for checking out the video and good luck getting that topwater bite.